What's up, everybody? So I've been working on the car a little bit, but I haven't been filming it because it was mainly a bunch of little stuff that really doesn't need explaining or showcasing. So what we're gonna do on this video is I'm gonna introduce you to the car, because really you've seen me work on it, but I haven't really told you anything about it. So I don't have a whole lot to film, so we're just gonna film this. And then we're going to kind of talk about some of the stuff that I did do to the car that I didn't film, and I'll just point it out maybe throughout the video or whatever. So what we're going to talk about first is the engine. Boom. Alright, so it's a junkyard 5.3 stock everything. It has, let's take this bolt out. I don't know what the fuck that's doing there, but whatever. Anyways, so yeah, stock 5.3, really nothing special there, just Ls1 Intake Manifold, headers, pulley kit for the Ls1 just to kind of get everything farther down, and just more aesthetically pleasing. So we're running a Griffin double pass radiator. I made some ducting, you can see right there. You know, just to try to utilize the radiator the best we can and try to get as much air into that radiator as we possibly can, so we can just keep hot lapping the car. So the transmission real quick, it's a Z32 trans with a G-force adapter kit. It's just a little plate and then a flywheel, bolts up real easy, no heavy modifications. And it's fairly inexpensive. I think I paid $160 for the transmission, and then $600 for the adapter kit, brand new. So all in all, you know, probably $50 with a clutch and pressure plate. So, and then just kind of making sure everything was good to go. Works fantastic. The only issue that I don't like about it is placement of the starter is on the bell housing side and not actually on the block side, where like your T56 or CD09s would actually just bolt in on this side. This one actually sits on the bell housing side. So what that does is it doesn't really allow you the room to run like a long tube header. So not as far as I can see. So I have to run Shorties, and then kind of wiggle around the downpipe around the starter itself. So yeah, not that big a deal, adapt and overcome. So before we get into suspension, we'll talk about the braking system. Running the Chase Bay manual brakes, power brake booster delete kit, works fantastic. I love it. The only issue that I don't like about it is the aggressive pads that I have to run, only because of the dust. That's it. I mean, it's just more of an aesthetic thing. So they get super dusty super quick, and it's ugly, but whatever. It functions phenomenally, so really it's not really a complaint. So left foot braking on this system is fantastic, because you can basically stand on the front brake and it damn near will not lock up. So, but it will slow the car down significantly. So it's like having manual anti-lock brakes. So it works fantastic. So you can just stand on that thing and have no issues. So the other thing is, since we're here talking about brakes, is there's a rear bias valve right there. That's the foot pedal brake bias valve for the rear. So you can basically shut that completely down and then have no fluid going into the rear wheels. So that way you don't have a bunch of brake drag and all. But you can turn it back up to make it to where your brakes still work for like daily driving and stuff. So versatile, and right there at your fingertips. So just a quick little spin of that will get you what you want. So the other thing is we're running powered by Max PBM suspension components all the way around, drop knuckles, coilovers, all the rear subfairing bushing, the camber rod, the tow rods, the spherical joint, the lead, pretty much everything that PBM makes minus the lower control arms for the front. One of these days I'll get those because if you look up under here, you can see right there. I rub a little bit there, and then on the back side of the control arm. So, another thing, since we're talking about steering, is I run a manual rack, so I don't have power steering. So therefore, I don't have power steering problems. Plain and simple. So the only thing is if something mechanical goes wrong with the rack, you know, we'll be in trouble there. The good thing about the PBM coilovers is they have caster adjustment. And if you know anything about RX7s, is the lower control arm doesn't have a caster setting. So whatever it is factory is pretty much what you end up with. But because PBM makes these coilovers with this hi-hat, there's 3 settings, there's 3 screws or places where you can put these studs in order to change your caster. So in order to adjust it, I have mine maxed out to the on the level 3s, or the 3 spot. And when you adjust camber, like that way, you're actually adding in more caster as well. So and then with more caster you get more self-steer. So, and then add that in with the manual steering, little self-steer, probably a good thing. Well, so you don't get arm pump as bad, but you just got to be a man about it. All right, so, and I think they have they're stepped down from these, which doesn't have that. So, and this is the only brand that I've seen that actually has that setting, or that ability to adjust caster. So, all right, well, let's move on. And you can see we have some LRB goodies. They make some fantastic products. I really enjoy them. I got the door panels from them, the cluster inset, and then right back there you can see we have the rear covers and all that. Makes it a little more race car and less drift car, I guess. But anyways, got a roll cage, nothing special, did it myself. First one I ever did. I figure it came out pretty good for it being my first time. And then one of the things we added in was a fire extinguisher. Medford requires that, so okay. So we added that in. I think it's a good spot. Looks kind of cool. Shouldn't be. Hopefully we don't have to use it. So the other thing we did was I added in a 12-volt receptacle so I can charge the GoPros or my phone or whatever while we're at the event and while I'm driving the car. So that way I don't have excuses of, oh, I had a dead battery and so I didn't film this. So, and you can kind of see the shifter placement for the Z32 Trans right there. It's not a bad placement, good spot. So what else do we want to talk about? So I made those covers for the container bins or whatever. They're just velcroed on. I like Velcro, it's easy. But I have my battery on that side, and then my fuse box is in that side, easily accessible. And then I don't have to crawl under the dash to get to a bunch of stuff. I mean, I do if I have to get in there and check the ECU or whatever. But all you gotta do is pop the hatch, climb in there, and then I can work on my stuff from inside the car or going through the driver's seat. But we also made this fuel pump cover, so just a little more protection. I had the factory cover, but it wasn't working with. I have some AN lines that I put in the sending unit. They're like bulkhead fittings, so you basically cut the nipples off where your factory hoses, or drill the cap of the sending unit where those lines would come through, and then you put bulkhead fittings in there, and so that way I can run AN line all the way through. So we had to make like a spacer plate to kind of space it up a little bit, because I have bulkhead fittings in there, bulkhead 90s, that basically convert the stock sending unit into a little more aftermarket, where I can run AN lines all the way through, and I don't have to run like tube adapters or any of those type of things. The other thing we got here is some sweet stickers and roof wing. So little homemade roof wing. I think it turned out pretty good. Didn't want to pay like 200 bucks for it, so I just made it out of some aluminum and called it good. It's not perfect, but it'll get the job done. Rear bash bar, I fabricated that up on my tubing bender right here. So it's been a learning experience. I'm not a fabricator, so but it's been a fun thing to try to learn. I've been learning how to TIG weld. Still need a bunch of time on time on that. So, but I love it. TIG's my favorite now. We have this old curly haired fuck right here, Bo, just laying around the garage. So I think that pretty much sums up this car. So if you guys have any questions, comment below, and I'll get to them. Maybe make a video on it, or if you have any suggestions on what I should make a video about, or should I just quit doing YouTube already because I suck? It doesn't matter. I don't know. Send me something to do. Because after this event, unless we break something, there's not a whole lot that we can do. All right. So that pretty much sums up the overview breakdown on the car. So if you have any questions about the car or about me, comment down below, and I'll either answer you, or if it's a good enough question and it deserves more than just a comment back, then I'll just make a video of it, or at least try. So, all right. The next time you'll see me is on the way to Oregon. So, pretty much just gotta load up, but I'm not gonna film none of that because that's kind of boring. So, we'll just jet up there. All right. Till next time. See ya.